The teardown of Redmi Turbo Max, Redmi's ultimate endurance phone with the biggest battery ever, is here. Can it really crush wind like in the poster? And can 9000 mAh truly be better than 1000 mAh as advertised? You'll find out after the teardown.
CEO Long, go after Xiaomi!
The Turbo Max promo poster shows Max on top, Win below, then reads, the final battle for ultimate terminal performance. Can any of you guys figure out what this poster is trying to mean? But I gotta say, this Dimensity 9500S processor is truly a cut above other Snapdragon 8 Gen 5s in its tier. Its battery also leads the MI series by a huge margin, directly outperforming its own second best, the K90 Pro Max, by 1500 mAh. From its appearance, the orange of this Turbo 5 Max, haha, I'd say its similarity to the orange of the 17 Pro Max is at least 91%. Many phone brands have orange this year. As for the design, it's quite surprising. This phone has adopted a very minimalist style. Besides the Redmi logo, the symmetrical cameras, and the two symmetrical flashlights, there's really no other design. Hey, why do you think it has two flashlights? Let's open it up and take a look later. Compared to the similarly priced Neo 8, their design approaches are completely opposite. One is a transparent mecha RGB style, the other is minimalist. I wonder which one you prefer. After powering it on, you'll notice the Turbo 5 Max's camera cutout features two rings of lens halos. These halos can be customized with practical functions such as a photo countdown or rhythmic lighting that syncs with music. It's quite similar to the Awakening halo on the Realme Neo 8. Now let's compare the screen display with the Realme Neo 8. In terms of screen parameters, the Turbo Max isn't particularly outstanding compared to others in its class. Although it's built with the CSOT M10 substrate material, other models in the 2000 yuan price bracket offer 144, 165, or even 185 Hz. Now, Redmi's 120 Hz is definitely enough for most, but it just doesn't sound nearly as impressive to the ear. I'm not sure if you guys actually switch to 144 or 165 when you're playing games. Regarding brightness, the Realme Neo 8 appears brighter to the naked eye, and since the Neo 8 uses Samsung's M14 substrate, it also boasts the classic special feature of Samsung displays, which is an additional brightness boost mode. When the boost mode is turned on, the brightness can be pushed even higher, making the brightness difference between the two even more noticeable. The difference is even more apparent when viewed from different angles. However, Realme's screen isn't very representative, as its display is stronger than many flagship phones. Looking at the thickness of the chin, these two phones are pretty much neck and neck. Honestly, almost every phone in the 2000 yuan range this year has a great chin. Alright, that's all for the exterior. Now what about the internal components of this Redmi Turbo Max? Let's get right into the teardown. After heating it, we'll use a disassembly tool to pry open this back cover. Wow, you know, the IP69 waterproof seal is really tight. The back cover uses a common fiberglass material this year. Its benefits are being light and durable. Above the camera opening, you can see a small light guide lens. This means the hardware for the two light rings on the lens isn't on the back panel. Instead, it emits light from several LED beads on the motherboard cover, which is then guided to the two light rings through a light guide lens. This design also helps reduce the cost of replacing the lens glass. Next, removing the motherboard cover reveals no wireless charging function, which is normal for this price point. As for the internal craftsmanship, on a scale of 1 to 91, what score would you give it? If you look closely, you can see that this ribbon cable integrates both the LED beads on the back cover and two flash LED beads. Hey, why are there two? Because if you look closely, the one below is actually not an LED bead, but an infrared emitter. This means its back shell, for symmetrical design, disguised the infrared emitter below as an LED flash. This design is quite clever. The upper section here integrates both the flash LED beads and the ambient light sensor. Now let's remove the camera module. The main camera features a 1/1.95-inch 50-megapixel sensor from SmartSense. According to Xiaomi's own naming convention, it is called the Light Hunter 600. Next, the ultra-wide-angle lens is a 1/4-inch 8-megapixel sensor, also from SmartSense. The front-facing camera is once again from SmartSense. It is also a 1/4-inch sensor and the resolution is 20 megapixels. It seems the front camera is even slightly stronger than the wide angle. And the overall specs, compared to the previous Turbo 4 Pro, they're actually mostly the same, just the hardware switched from Sony's LIT series to our domestic SmartSense, so the localization rate has further increased. If you prioritize photography, the performance is similar, running on Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, but the Xiaomi 15 Pro with its much stronger camera is also worth considering. While the new 15 Pro sells for 5,000 yuan, its current second-hand price on Zhuangzhuan is 2,138 yuan, nearly 3,000 yuan cheaper than new, and every phone on Zhuangzhuan undergoes multiple official quality inspections, so the quality is guaranteed. Once the motherboard is removed, we see a single layer design, which is great for heat dissipation. Plus, the camera and the heat generating zones are completely separated. Flipping it over, you'll notice the motherboard's VC liquid cooling system has an outward curving design. This ensures heat from the board is more effectively transferred to the VC liquid cooling fins. Removing the shield reveals the motherboard's performance trio, the Dimensity 9500S paired with LPDDR5X Ultra and UFS 4.1. When it comes to the Dimensity 9500S, the Turbo 5 Max still has an advantage over its competitors. Simply put, the 9500S is essentially a refresh of the previous 9400 Plus, or you could call it a 9400 Plus Plus. The cache is fully utilized with no cuts made. Its benchmark score is around 3.6 million, which is stronger than the heavily cut Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 in similar tier phones, and it's quite competitive with its Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. So this one here covered in thermal paste is Xiaomi's self-developed PengPi P3 charging management chip. The main function of this chip is to control battery charging without overheating and also to dynamically adjust power in real time, which can extend the battery's lifespan. Then taking off the top speaker, it uses a Gore-Tex fully metal encapsulated 1115F specification. For its class, this top speaker is quite good. Other devices in the same tier mostly use 10.12H and they're not even fully metal encapsulated. The bottom speaker cover is removed and it looks completely symmetrical to the one on top. It's also the 1115F component from Gore-Tex. So while we're at it, let's compare it with the competitor's Neo 8 that we filmed the Alright, so after listening, who do you all think has the better sound quality? On a side note, this phone also supports a 400% volume loudspeaker mode and an ultra low volume half sleep mode. For those of you who enjoy watching movies in bed, you're definitely in luck. After disassembling the charging port board, the transmission speed is USB 2.0, which is considered a normal level for this particular price point. Oh, and there's a highlight. It supports 27-watt reverse wireless charging, which can activate full-speed charging for Apple devices. Oh, the OnePlus Turbo 6, released recently, also featured this 27-watt reverse charging. Well, we can only say that there's another power bank for gaming. And the motor, when disassembled, uses an AAC Technologies 0809 spec, which is normal for this price range. Once removed, the battery is quite large. Its three-dimensional measurements are 5.6mm thick, 70mm wide, and 98mm long. Its capacity reaches an exaggerated 9,000 mAh. In the promotion, there's also a controversial point. It claims 9,000 mAh is greater than 10,000 mAh. But this just shows that the Turbo 5 Max has excellent power consumption management. The battery as a whole uses a single cell with a dual interface design, allowing for faster charging and a longer lifespan. The battery supports a 100-watt wireless fast charge. The manufacturer, it seems, is still Dongguan ATL. Okay, so this phone is pretty much disassembled now, let's put it back together. So this year's 2,000 yuan range phones are basically all disassembled. Each brand's selling points are very distinct. For example, some have fans, some have large batteries, some have curved screens, some have high refresh rates. So in the end, how will you choose? Reassembly complete. So guys, what phone do you want to see next time? Feel free to type it in the comments section.